Well, everybody, it's basically Friday, no live stream, but I did promise you something on Friday, at least. Sorry, something kicking in the tooth here, maybe something that I ate. But yes, it's not October season. That's to be expected here. But we are actually going to take a look at something here. Now you realize this is the same exact skeleton I used in a couple of videos lately. Now, yes, it's kind of weird to make a video based off of how I do skeletons, but how you dress a skeleton is a question here. How do you dress something that is so bone thin right here, like literally bone thin? How do you dress it? That's where I go through today. And that's why I'm going to go through it. Now, I'm not going to take off his clothes because it's going to be a pain to put them back on anyhow. And plus, with all these tears, it's going to be even more impossible. But I am going to show you how you can use the skeleton here. Now, he had a broken arms, so I fixed them with a string, as you can see right here, through his bone collar. And I laced it up inside the bones of the arms themselves so that he's got a nice little movement to him. Now, these clothes are clean, just to make sure, because nobody wants smelly clothes. So let's take a look, of course, at the bottom here, which are the legs and the pants. The pants are completely, well, I wouldn't call them too decayed, but let's look at the bottom where I wonder what you call the bottom of these pants are here, but it's like the bottom part of the pants. These are basically torn mostly, kind of similar to many undead, pretty much, or anybody who was in the ground. Pretty much a very basic way here. I use scissors to snip these sides here, snip them at a very angle to create basically pretty much how the dead would drag their feet, pretty much, and the pants would just drag through and it would cause rips and tears. Kind of similar to this. And it flaps around too, so it looks cool. And I just want to let you know, because I don't have any paint. I am ready to put paint on this guy, but I really want paint. And I'm learning how to put I don't know, like dirt splatters or blood splatters all over this guy, so at least he looks ready. Because he actually does look great in my eyes. But going to the legs, with a basic Stanley Tools knife, boxing cutter, you could cut the pants easier with these nice little strips, especially on the legs. As you could see, I made some nice tears here, a hole right here. Keep the pockets nice and good, because someday you might want to put something in this guy's pockets. A hole right here. This was the biggest leg to tear right here, and if I can flip him over on the back side. And this is just for me personally. I'm learning along the way. But if you look at his bottom, I'm literally just carrying this guy around. But if you look at his bottom, that's teared too. So it looks more or less that, I think mostly, if I were to say, he dragged his ass up out of the casket or something like that. Dragged it and maybe cut some holes in it, because the casket's old. It's made out of wood. But now we're going to go to the hands and the head, and then we'll start with the shirt. Now, the hands are very basic. You're wondering, what did you use to make these types of, padded glove-looking materials here? Well, of course I used the string to put it on nice. But if you can actually look, this is actually a sock. Hands down, I had holes in my socks, and it was mostly down to the steps, which we are working on pretty much. They have screws that cut through, and that's basically accidentally when I don't have slippers on. But now I have slippers, so I can walk on the steps easily. So I basically tear the gloves off, and I cut them, and I wrap them around the hand, but I also make 4 holes for the little digits that he has on his fingers, so that it slides through easy, and I wrap it tightly around the wrist area, but also not impeding his hand movement as well. That goes the same with this, except I wanted it much larger, much bigger, as you can see, and I used 2 strings right here, and it's a big twine, but he still has his arm free to move, so it's basically still loose enough for him to move his arm. So at least that he can, sit like this pretty much, very basic. The hat is very special to me. And of course, this is a sock piece right here. This is where the angle would be right here. Again, I've cleaned these, so don't judge me. Let me put him down for a sec here. So this hat is a very special hat for me because he has a string that is attached to his head, as you could see, which attaches to his skull, which I am not going to pop out, but is attached to the spinal cord area. What I did with this hat was basically, it already had a hole in it, so this thing looks like a hat pretty much, like a snow hat almost. So I actually tied a piece of string right here, and I might replace it because, fabrics like this do wear out quite a lot, but I did put a piece of string on it, and it fits its head very nicely, as you could see. The string will come out as I do this. It's a little awkward doing it in the camera. And it's not a real skeleton. It's fake. It's plastic. I mean, if I have to put more proof, he has screws on his bones. So relax, everybody. It's not real, but it fits his head nicely, and the string, no matter which hole place it is, it's right here, so he could be hanged easily, and he could still have a hat on, pretty much. Now we go to the shirt. I did 2 shirts. This was not the first one. Let me get the first one. So this is the first one. These are mostly my little brother's clothes where it didn't fit him anymore. The pants to the shirts here. This one was back when he was very, very little. I think this was like his pajamas right here. And I cut and teared the whole thing up. It was like, again, I used a simple like Stanley Tools box cutter. Most of the time I've used screwdrivers to jam little holes like the ones here. And it's mostly just to put the strings that you see on him literally on his bones, so at least it fits him, because these things are not short enough for like these like, I forgot how much money you get for these types of skeletons. I know that the big ones with the ratchety hands with the glow in the dark eyes, I remember back last year, were $20 in Home Depot, which I really want to get a big one because I really, really, really want to use it because it's so cool. But the shirt is basic. I also took tributes to more classic horror films that used rather teared and ripped shirts, like the Monster Squad with the Wolfman shirt. It was completely teared. It had like a nasty long tear here because of his back. It was pretty huge, like a hunched back, but it had this nasty long tear right here. I also looked at others like Night of the Creeps, which was a horror movie, a zombie alien horror movie. If I wanted that for Horror Vision, I will make sure I would put that for you, but not in 2023. But they had ripped and tattered clothes because they were in like a bus accident, pretty much, in the movie. And then there was like The Walking Dead, which had the walkers with these types of tattered clothing here. Mostly it's like to make it look a little bit more fray. They use like an angular style knife to like cut through and rip and tear to make it feel old and pretty much ripped through the years here. I didn't have that kind of knifing that they had, but at least I tried my best, and this looks way more teared. And I want to make it assume more like they've been dead for a very, very long time. And I mean, maybe like around, of course, this won't fit the time period, but like somehow kind of like the 1800s or the early 1900s. Like, I want to feel like these clothes had not been washed, they had not been used for a very long time. They hadn't even been like properly treated, and that's what caused most of these tears. Most of it is probably by bugs trying to tear into this clothing so that they can like, go inside the body and all, you know how the way bugs work in the corpse. I don't want to describe it. It's very disgusting. But this was the first shirt, and it fit him pretty well. It made pretty much like long sleeves for this. Well, this one is mostly short sleeves. I think this was short sleeves as well. But this was when he was little. And I cut here too because it was too long too. But it was mostly a nice tear here. If I really wanted to, I would have painted this thing already. But I would paint it. I want to make sure it's like the type of paint where like it sticks to the clothing, but it doesn't make it stiff. If anybody can help me with that in the comments, I would love it. But going back to, I'm actually going to sit it down on the bed here. But going back to him, because he has the other shirt on, this is a Levi's shirt that my brother can't wear. Also, I also tear this off on the leg right here because he's mostly dragging his leg, and it was probably stuck on something, and it teared very easily. But going back to his shirt I need to put it had to look completely ripped and tears here. So I wanted to create bigger holes, but I wanted to put closer ones. Like, I wish I had a better camera for you all, but I'm just gonna have to. Whoop! Come on, work with me. I have to use this camera. I have to zoom in by just moving the computer around, because this is what I'm using as the computer camera. But you could see the holes and the tears right here on this side of the shirt, and you see how close they are together. That's what I want to represent. And even on the shoulder blades here, like right here, you could see it's a little teared right here, so that his shoulder blades would be showing. There's cuts on this backside. I mostly wanted to do a long tear on the wrist, on the arm area here. There's more cuts and tears here, like mostly rips and tears. Even the backside, if I can get him to sit right here. There we go. His back, you could see I put another big nasty tear and a little mini-sized nasty tear to it. Nice good cuts right here. So at least he looks like he's been through quite a lot lately. And that's basically it. Now, what was my idea if I wanted to make it seem like the shirts are getting old? They're starting to get that nasty look on them. Like they just are completely just withered away, and they're like they've been in the ground, and maybe like just in case, like I don't know, like this dead person killed someone pretty much, and blood splatters everywhere. How would I do that? So with the skeleton, it's a tricky one, but with the clothes, I think it's pretty easy because, I mean, clothes do get stained very, very often. I had a couple of stains on my clothes once with bleach, but I could get this off. Mostly I would put like basically maybe a little bit of mud splatter somewhere in like, maybe like onto the chest area somewhere around here, because he's probably, you know, with a dead guy, including like, you know, a skeleton, they're going to be bending down, maybe grabbing something, and like they'll be in the dirt pretty much. So like mud would get all over this area, dirt. So it would be right here. And maybe with blood splatter, pretty much like if it's biting something, or if it had a weapon and it stabs someone, I would put blood splatters on the sides of the shirt, maybe some on the collar right here. And you may be wondering, why not use dirt? Why not use actual dirt for the clothes? You're not actually really getting the clothes dirty. You're just trying to simulate dirt. It doesn't mean actually putting dirt. I don't know who would think that idea up, but whatever it is, I would put that type of splatter on there. But it would be interesting too how I would put it on this skeleton right here. And especially with a white t-shirt, this is like the best type of t-shirt you would possibly get, because these t-shirts get stained very, very, very often. These are like, white in my opinion is one of the worst colors I've ever had to deal with, because it gets stained so badly. You need something to make it not stain the entirety of your clothes here. But if you are using white, it's good to use white on something like a Halloween costume or a decoration that needs clothes, like the skeleton right here. Now, there is a stain on this. It's mostly yellow, but it's very little. And I think I got this mostly when I was just hiding it somewhere because I didn't know where to put him. I usually put him in the back right there. But I would put some dirt on it. I would put lots of dirt on it. The pants are very simple here because they're not going to get blood splatters, but they are, even in this little feathery area, would get some dirt onto this so that it simulates the fact that they were walking in the dirt and they pretty much have been in the dirt. Now, this is the trickiest part because I have no idea what I want to put on the feet, which is the big, big question. I might put paint on it to simulate he's walking and he just got some dirt all over his bones. And the blood splatter will be interesting on the hands because I feel like I want to do quite a lot with these hands to make them feel special. So I would put more blood splatter on the cloth here of the sock, which is the glove, and maybe a little bit on the arm area, on both sides of the arms. And his jaw could have maybe a little bit of blood coming out of his teeth right here and the jawline, along with the collar being a little bit with blood as well, with his bones being that as well. The splatter, I've seen people use paintbrushes with red paint. Well, not too much paint. They usually like hold it and sprinkle it pretty much. They usually sprinkle some on the shirt to simulate blood. I've seen it with action figures like the Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees. I think it was part 3. They took a shirt and they put some splatter onto the pants. They put it on the shirt, simulating the fact that his machete, like, blood splattered all over his clothes. And that's what I want to simulate with this guy. But I also want to put some dirt. I also want to put some, like, I want to simulate dirt all over his clothes so that he can, so it could be literally like he just came out of the grave, pretty much. Make it signs like that. Now, there may become a time I might get rid of this string, but in the meantime, it's stuck on his head, so I have nothing to really do about that. But I am fine with it. Now, how did I tie him is a very big story. If I could just move his shirt up here. This is getting awkward here, but you could see that he had string originally. This pants has string so that it can, like, it goes to the size pretty much. You could stretch it and you could tie it and it goes to the actual size. I had the audacity to literally shrink it, like right here, almost like a cauliflower pretty much, and just tie it really tight around his waist area so that it doesn't fall, but it's also not too long that it impedes his feet so that he can stand still. Like, if I could move it down, I don't think that's possible because I might close my computer by accident, but Jesus. I'll just take my pillow for the consistency's sake here, but you could see, like, you could see his feet, and when I move his legs, he is pretty much walking, but it's not impeding his walk pretty much, but it's long enough that it's dragging, so it will simulate the drag. And his shirt, the shirt had to take lots of strings to it. I had to put strings on the collarbone areas here that, I forgot what the hell they call these here. I'm sorry, my science teacher, Mr. M. Shayas, I'm sorry if I don't even know this, but I have a very low functioning brain. But they're right on top of the shoulder blades of the collarbone, right here, 2 right here. I also wrap it around the spinal cord right here, which has this little ring here, almost like a collar pretty much, like he's been dead for a very long time. Maybe he got punished, he got tortured, and this basically was snapped on him. Basically, he couldn't move. He was like a pet, give the dog a shock collar. So, yeah, I wanted to assume that, how he looked, I mean, the only thing I can remove is the jaw. I mean, look at that. That could make him even more dead. I mean, that would look horrifying. But I'm just going to keep the jaw on. And it's literally by these little prongs right here. You just place them into the holes on the side of his head. So, let's put that one in. That one. There. And he's on nice and good. The hat, like, if you're moving, you could accidentally drop the hat like this. So you rather keep it very high up so that you can make sure his eyes are visible. So I do also want to try to make a scarf for this thing. It's so crazy because I really want to try new things here, and I want to try to hang some clothes up for this type of thing. I really am trying to prepare for October here with this guy, because look at how good he looks with this on. Especially if I put this on him, he still would look nice. So that's my summary. I think that's basically it here. It's I've been dragging on for nearly almost 20 minutes. It's going to be going 20 minutes right now. So that's it. I hope you really do enjoy this video, and I hope it kind of inspires you for October season. Since I'm not going to do any horror vision this year, I am still taking this year's rest. But when 2023 comes along, I am going to be watching a lot of horror movies. I'm going to be watching a lot of Halloween stuff, and it's going to be crazy because I'm going to be doing it literally during the summertime and the spring. It's going to be weird, and the fall doesn't matter because that's the start of it. But spring and summer are going to be the weirdest years of my life in 2023. I just hope we're going to be safe during that year. But I know that I really want to make this a good year for everyone. And I hope you all do enjoy my look into making a skeleton's ripped and tattered clothes. And if you did, a like would be very much appreciated. But pretty much a very special subscription is very well appreciated. Even if you don't want to subscribe, that's fine. But if you want to like the video, that's fine. But comment down below on any ideas I could put with this skeleton to make him look. I don't want it to look disgusting and all the stuff flakes off and all that. I want it to be like paint, pretty much. Like any paint ideas I could put with this guy. Any paint ideas. If I had any good ideas that I told you, then fine. But just let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so at least you know that I'll be uploading quite a few episodes lately. It's tough, especially when you're very busy and when you're starting to get a little older. But I hope this basically inspires you to do the same with these types of skeletons. I might look at some more videos on this, but this is a very special one for me. But anyhow, I'll catch you later in the next one. Later. Yes, I know I'm doing it. I can't do puppetry, I can't do stop motion, but anyhow, I'll catch you later. Later.